Okay, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever this video finds you. Once again, I'm back again in front of you because what I had to say is too long to be trying to type it out on a post. So, I know I said I might do some Kingdom Finance posts, and I still videos, and I still might do that. I'm really thinking about doing that. But I wanted to just address a couple of things. I was thinking about, some of us need to really get away from trying to drag what we did in the past into this new life with, as a born again Christian. I gave up and really renounced, trying to, gang bang or whatever. I'm not running around here, dapping people up, throwing up the pyramids, hollering almighty, brother, brethren, none of that, going to gold. All that is behind me, what I'm saying? Because I'm born again into the kingdom of God. And I keep saying this, I'm gonna have to keep saying this, but there are only two kingdoms in the spirit, the kingdom of God and the kingdom of darkness. And the king of the kingdom of God is Jesus, and the king of the kingdom of darkness is Satan, the devil, the enemy, the real enemy. It's one thing to be, you can bring your personality and still be in the mind of Christ and make it work, and you can still have your swag or whatever, and it work. You can just be yourself in the kingdom of God. But Jesus came preaching the kingdom, and I was looking at my Facebook post and about like a year or two worth of them, and I'm like looking at it like, man, this is undeniable, this is undisputed. Really. So I'm like, man, I'm done talking to these people. I'm gonna leave this alone. And then I forgot something happened where I ended up chucking that idea. But then I looked back at my the recent post where I was talking about the politics in labor union, and it occurred to me that the same thing is happening in the church. Because the other thing that Jesus talked about was beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. The religious leaders that are already in place, and because they're not doing it right. And it kind of makes me think about Rick James. Rick James used to complain about Prince. When Prince used to tour with him, he's like, man, this dude is making me work too hard. And that's why, there's such a clash, or there's such a angst, or that's why I have a bone to pick with a lot of Christian leadership, because there's a couple things. For one, they're not telling you to study to show yourself approved unto God, so that you can be able to rightly divide the word of truth for yourself and not be ashamed and not be put to shame. And really, the real shame is that the devil shouldn't be able to do a lot of stuff that he's able to do. He should not be able to do that. Because these pastors, like God said, I'm going to give you pastors after my own heart. We're going to feed you with knowledge and understanding. And that's in the Old Testament in Jeremiah chapter 3. In the New Testament in Ephesians chapter 4, he gave spiritual gifts, and there's 5 leadership spiritual gifts that the church has come to call fivefold ministry gifts. Apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, teacher. But a lot of these leaders don't have that spiritual gift. And if they do, it's teacher, but it ain't pastor. A lot of these pastors don't care about the sheep. Jesus talked about leaving if one leave all, he gonna leave the 99 to go after the one. So the shepherd or the pastor spiritual gift really cares about the sheep. They really care about your upkeep and your well-being. And so But my thing was that with this corruption, when there's corruption, they hate for you to make them do their job. They prefer to just sit back and coast and sit on their laurels and collect the money, or the with the contracts and their salaries, and with the politics and the influx of the donations, and with the unions. They just want them union dues flowing. I used to have to make them do their job with them union stuff. But anyway, but here it is. I'm thinking, like I said, it kind of makes me think about Rick James and Prince touring like, "You making me work too hard." I'm making them look bad because I'm doing the job without the title, and I'm getting all these doggone results as one person, and you can't even get these type of results as a church with a whole full-blown membership. So I don't know. I'm coming to the realization that, look, I'm just gonna have to just start making videos and start teaching and training people, and I'm just gonna have to make these church leaders look bad because they're not doing it right. And that was one of the bones I had to pick when I first became a Christian. So I could see it. I'm like, man, they not being trained right. They not putting certain things in place. They not training people up and deploying them, like Jesus did. They're not doing none of that. They just sitting on their butt and collecting money and playing on you and stringing you along on your emotions. And we're here to save souls. Your emotions is a third of your soul. You still got your will and your mind. So I can't do it no more. When I say I can't do it no more, I can't just sit back and just watch this stuff happen year after year, at the doggone decade. It's gonna turn into almost 3 decades now. So I'm gonna start posting up trainings and teachings and trainings like on how to really live this life in the kingdom of God. Because again, there's only two kingdoms, and that's why the devil be really trying to throw everything in the kitchen sink at me, because he know that I know the deal. I know all the tactics, I know all the strategies, I know I know where everything's at. I know all the keys. So I can't. There's only so much I can do by myself. If we training other people like we're supposed to do, really, the devil should be overwhelmed by too many doggone Jesus is coming at him, and that's just not the case. That is not what's happening. So stay tuned, because I'm about to flip the script. I'm about to just start preaching and posting and teaching, because they're not doing it right. All right, y'all be blessed. Stay in this, walk in the spirit, and avoid fulfilling the lust of the flesh. Try to do your best to live holy, sanctified lives. Read your word, fast, pray. Get in a relationship with the Father. Start getting them downloads and getting them revelations, because the rubber is coming to the road. There's too many people going to hell to be playing games.